So you can see here in the epilogue who should appear but the girl in white. And so, for the epilogue, we shall play as the girl in white. So after all the times of watching her run around the forest, we can actually play as the girl in white. You'll notice that there are a few differences, though I'm not sure how to interpret all of them. For instance, when we chose her, she did not get the wine in the basket, which is what happened when we chose every other of the sisters. You'll notice that it's already raining, and it's always raining when you're the girl in white. If you think of the rain, as I mentioned before, as being a baptism, a growing into wisdom, so to speak, then the girl in white, because she is wearing white, like I said before, I interpret as the embodiment of wisdom that is gained. It's the good, productive side of growing up. While there's difficulty in growing up, which is represented by the wolf, I choose to interpret the girl in white as being kind of the flip side of the wolf, the good parts that come out of getting older and wiser. So, another difference is that the girl in white does not have to slow down through the attractions. This is the Misty Lake, and you can see we can still run through it. You can either consider that a game mechanic, since this is the epilogue, it's not actually a chapter, or you can interpret it as basically that being an embodiment of wisdom, basically the girl in white does not need to stop and interact with these places where the other girls grew up, basically. Because the girl in white doesn't need to grow up, she has the wisdom already. So that's how you can interpret the fact that she can just run through these places. I don't think she comments on anything in the basket. I'll just do a few little random tests. But I don't think she actually speaks at all. You can collect some items, though, if you haven't already. You can see here, like the flower, the piano, these ones with the black backgrounds. They're available to get, so you can collect them, I believe, but I don't think that the girl in white comments on them. She just picks them up. Now, another thing about the girl in white is that all of the attractions are here. I mentioned that she could run through them, and all 6 of them are here in the same forest. And also, the girl in white has no wolf. I'll say for the same reason that I'm interpreting most of the rest of this stuff. That she doesn't need the kind of painful growing up experiences that the girls have had to go through, I should say. And yes, she can pick up flowers. So if you're really a gamer who just has to collect everything that could be collected, you can also run around as the girl in white and collect up all the remaining flowers. Now, one more thing that we'll actually need to do in order to complete the epilogue is get back to the path. And unlike all of the red girls, the girl in white can always... here it is, yes. The girl in white can always come back to the path. Whereas for the six sisters, once they leave sight of the path, they can't get to it unless they have the girl in white help them. You can hear the giggling that was associated with the girl in red, but could also be a representation of the girl in white's voice as well. Oops, looks like we're going the wrong way, actually. I wonder if that giggling was just to tell us that we're going the wrong way. Oh, no, I hear it some more. Okay. You never know how to interpret some of the sounds around here in this game. Now, let's see. There is another object that is sometimes around Grandmother's house. I'm not sure if it's here or not. I'll take a quick look. So here's Grandmother's house. Oops, it's stuck on the tree there. I don't see it here. I'm going to go a little bit further back down the path, just because I'm curious, because I think the object I'm looking for tends to be near the path, but it may not always be on Grandmother's side, or on the Grandmother house end of the path. So let's go back down a little ways. I'm still starting to be convinced that this giggling is just to tell us we're going the wrong way, right away from Grandmother's house. Let's see, is that it? Yes, this is it. Okay. So if you'll see over here, there's a small little, maybe shrine, is how I might describe it. Let's see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red roses. If I wanted to interpret that as the girls, I would probably want there to be 6 of them, but I can still only see 5. But there you see a little grave or a little cross. I'm not sure which one it is. I'm not sure if this may be just an allusion to one of the earliest games that this game company, Tale of Tales, did, which was called The Graveyard. Wow. Girl in White just somersaulted right through it. Anyway, one of the first game I think that Tale of Tales released was called Graveyard, where you're an old woman and you just walk through a graveyard. And this might be a little miniature version of one of those graves. It could be, I'm not sure. But interpret this how you will. I still haven't quite made up my mind as to what it's supposed to mean. But you can find that near the path. So now I'll actually head to Grandmother's house. And once we make it through there, that will be all of the main content of the game. And the videos that come after will be, of course, my conclusion video, which I always do for a Let's Play, where I'll just present some final thoughts about the overall game. And after that, I will do some of the extras that you guys want me to do. So let's get through the gate. And the girl in white just marches confidently right up to Grandmother's house. And at the end of this, we'll see what's usually called the failed ending. Although in the girl in white's case, it counts as passing the chapter, or the epilogue, I should say. So there's no opening, you know, with the living room and the kitchen. Here we start off in Robin's bedroom, and we're basically going to go on a tour of all 6 of the girls' final rooms. And you notice that even though I'm standing still and the screen got dark, you don't hear the wolf. So again, the wolf is completely absent from the epilogue. So there's Robin's bed grave with the moon. We go through the clawed door. And here is Rose's swirling vortex room. Ginger's room of mattresses, barbed wire, and crow feathers. Ruby's rusty room with the merry-go-round. Carmen's bedroom with the ominous phallic-like tree in the middle of the bed and the X on the door. And finally, Scarlett's room, sterile and covered in plastic. And here, we actually get to Grandmother's bedroom. And you can see a stuffed wolf just to the side there, with the grandmother in bed, just like in the story, and a picture of the girl in white over top of her. She wakes up, and that's it. End of epilogue. Items collected 0 out of 5. Yeah, we didn't need to collect any extras. Distance traveled, 1182 meters. And of course, it doesn't mention the wolf, because there is none. And after the epilogue, you're greeted to one final scene, which we will now see. Girl in white, stained, her dress stained with blood. Ah, but look who has returned. Scarlett. Then Carmen. Then Ruby. You notice they're all taking their positions that they started with. There's Ginger. Grabs her chalk. Rose returns. And she needs to fetch her bunny once again. And last but not least, little Robin also returns. And with that, the girl in white takes her leave. And as you can see, in an interesting way, the game comes full circle. And we're exactly back where we started. So if I were to click on one of these girls, we would start with Chapter 1 again. So now we come to probably the most controversial topic in the whole game, and that is, what does the girl in white represent? How exactly is her relationship to the Red Sisters? What is her relationship to the grandmother? I've yet to hear anything that has really convinced me one way or the other. My favorite theory is that the girl in white takes the place of the woodsman or the hunter in the classic 17th century version of Red Riding Hood. Just in case you don't recall what his role was, he was at the end of the story after Little Red Riding Hood is eaten by the wolf, and his job is to he comes and cuts the wolf open and extracts Red Riding Hood, and I think the grandmother as well, although I could be wrong on that. But, so the fact that she appears here at the end covered with blood just is very evocative to me of the woodsman cutting open the wolf in order to basically rescue Red Riding Hood. And in the context of this video game, I would say that her cutting open the wolf and saving the lives of all 6 sisters is, you know, perhaps a slightly more hopeful end note to an otherwise kind of dark story. Basically that the wisdom, so to speak, that the girl in white represents has redeemed them from their experience, so that they have learned something key, and that they can now go on with the rest of their lives a little wiser than before. And in that respect, you know, I don't think that the wolf necessarily represents a completely evil force either, because it is through the pain and the suffering that the wolf represents that they acquire this wisdom. You know, I'm not defending that everyone should go out and get themselves in trouble, but I'm just saying that there is something redeemable that can be pulled out of even a very bad or very horrible situation. So, that is the path. And if you want to, at this point, if you were playing the game, you could go through the chapters in a different order. And your basket will already be full. So if you think that one of the girls may comment on an item that they didn't have in their basket during your first playthrough, you can play through them again and then just open the basket and see what they have to say about the other items. So other than that, like I said before, I'll leave it up to you guys to decide if there's anything extra you want me to do before I move on to the next Let's Play. And after this video, I will also post the conclusion video with a few final thoughts on the game itself. So I'll see you then.